Hello my loves, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my July budget with me. I thought I'd change things up a little bit this month because we are officially halfway through the year, which how did that happen? I have no idea. Also the fact that the first of this month falls on a Monday, chef's kiss. It's really doing wonders for my motivation levels. I've been to a Pilates class already, done a bunch of work. I'm just feeling great. Like unstoppable. At least 2 times a year, beginning and middle, I just completely want to reinvent myself, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all things money, finances, have a look at our June budget, see how we went with that, and then set a new budget for July as well. And then I also asked you guys for questions on my Instagram story, anything pertaining to like how I use my budget, how I track my finances, just anything money related that you might be wondering. I'm going to save all the goal setting for my mid-year reset, which will be coming, I think, later this week. So look out for that. I just feel like I need a big revamp of my life, to be quite honest. I need to start implementing some healthy habits and like checking on my annual goals. All of that fun stuff will be in my mid-year reset, which I cannot believe it's already that time. It's crazy. This year has seriously flown by. But if you are new here, hello and welcome. Welcome to the family. My name is Ella. I'm 27. I live in Adelaide, South Australia with my husband and our dog Mabel Moo. I do a lot of lifestyle content and vlogs as well as budgeting and personal finance videos. I love talking about money. It's like one of my biggest passions, especially as of late. I just feel so compelled to open up that conversation around personal finance and make it less of a taboo thing. It's still something I get a lot of like criticism about, talking about our income, our spending, our saving, which really just goes to show how much work we still have to do in that space, especially for a young woman to talk about her finances. I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of work to be done in this space. The one thing that keeps me inspired and motivated to keep talking about it though is you guys, and you guys sharing your success stories and just knowing that me yapping on about money, not that I'm a financial expert in any way, shape or form, this is not financial advice, but me just like talking about my own money and how I manage it is inspiring you guys to do the same. It's really like the key, like the crux of saving money. Your income has to be higher than your expenses, and obviously there are situations where people don't have control over that, but for the vast majority of us, we do have wiggle room and we do have room in our budget to save money. You just have no idea where it's going, and I think tracking and setting up a budget every single month is truly a game changer. So we're going to be delving into that. Enough of the yapping. Let's talk about how we went for June. Probably my number one most asked question is what spreadsheet I use. I always have it linked down below. I also have it linked on my TikTok and Instagram. It's a spreadsheet from CoPlenty, specifically the yearly 2.0 spreadsheet. So it has the monthly breakdown and then also an annual dashboard, which gives you an overview of how you're tracking for the year, which we'll definitely have to delve into for my mid-year reset. We don't get paid monthly. I kind of just get paid whenever I get paid. So I just keep adding to the business income, just whatever comes into our account or whatever I transfer, and it gets paid fortnightly or bi-weekly. You can set up as many different income tabs as you want. So if you get paid weekly, you'll have your paycheck number 1, 2, 3, 4. Income wise, it was pretty much what we expected. This paycheck was a little bit lower, but then this one was a lot higher. Nick got a pay rise and it was backdated a few months, so this won't be what it looks like regularly, but that was a nice little extra $1,000 that we put towards our car loan. And then for my business income, I budgeted $4,000. I try and lowball this just in case payments don't come through for whatever reason. And I made $6,229.35 after taxes and deductions. And then miscellaneous, we cashed out some of our shop back earnings and then also transferred some money back from our travel money card. It was from USD to AUD, which was nice. Really nothing out of the ordinary with bills. Subscriptions, some of them have gone up. So $19.99 for our Spotify subscription now, and $7.99 for Netflix, which is like not a big deal. Obviously we have the money to pay for it. It's just annoying, and I'm more annoyed for like people that are already struggling. $1 doesn't seem like a big deal, but in the grand scheme of things, that's, you know, it adds up, it makes a difference. We may have to revisit some of these subscriptions. We also got Paramount Plus, so need to add that to our subscriptions. I think I might revisit this when I do my mid-year reset. I don't want to think about it right now. Then for our variable expenses, we spent $344.96 on groceries. That was a lot lower than usual because we were doing U Foods. I didn't pay for that because that was part of a brand deal. That covered most of our lunches and also a couple of dinners as well. So we spent a little bit less on groceries, which was nice. Petrol, we spent $109.96. We were under budget with that. Home, we were also under budget. We spent $177.76. $50 went towards health. That was for my Pilates intro pack, which was $50 for 5 classes, which is such a steal. Eating out, we were also over. We spent $225.11, but considerably better from last month. How much did we spend? $467.75 last month. So we quite literally halved that amount, which is good. We didn't spend any money on Mabel. We spent $49.30 on entertainment. We're under budget for gifts, and I didn't spend any money on books. Alcohol, we spent $110.55, but we did a big stock up because we had some friends over. So we still have drinks in the fridge that will get us through to next month, at least for a little bit. And then $191.43 on takeaway. We're definitely eating out a little bit more this month. Not as bad as May. We made improvements on May, but it could still be better. I kind of generally wanted to have a pretty low spend month in June. And for the most part, we did. It all kind of evens out. We spent $33.54 on rideshare, nothing on the Metro card, nothing on clothing or beauty. Miscellaneous, we spent $214.99. Most of that was for our rego. This is something that I completely forgot about. Like, car expenses in general, we are the worst about remembering. So for next month, I need to set up a little car maintenance fund, I think, for like servicing and rego and things like that. To be fair, our car is brand new, so we really don't have to pay much when it comes to servicing. And when we bought our car, the first year of the rego was free, so we didn't really have to think about it. And then it kind of just like crept up on us. So that's definitely something we need to add to the budget. And then travel. This wasn't originally part of the budget because we had no idea we would be going to Sydney, but then Nick had to go there for work. I kind of tagged along. It was like half work, half pleasure. So I budgeted $600 each, which is $1,200. We were over by $174, but some of this will be reimbursed because Nick gets a travel allowance. He also has a cab charge, but it didn't work on one of the taxis, so that will be reimbursed as well. So this will change. This will be very close to $1,200, so I'm not too worried about that. Overall, I mean, we're $435.40 over budget with our totals, but if let's bring this to $1,200 and see what that does. So that brings it down to $261.39, which is basically the cost of our rego. So actually pretty on budget this month, which is awesome. I'll just change this back. And then in terms of debt, we had an incredible month. If you guys have been keeping up with me on Instagram or TikTok, I've been doing little debt-free updates. So you guys would already know, but we put $4,500 towards the car loan, which means we are officially under $2,000 owing on the car, which is insane. That does in fact mean we'll have this paid off in the next month. Sometime in the month of July, our car will be fully paid off, which means it's taken 15 months to pay it off. 15? 14. Just over 12 months to pay off our $30,250 car loan, which that was a question I got from one of you guys on my Instagram. Do we regret taking out our car loan? Is it something that we'll do in the future? I don't think it's something we'll do in the future. I would love to buy our next car outright. Like, financially, it does make the most sense. No one wants to be paying interest, especially on a depreciating asset, but I also don't have any regrets. It made sense for us financially at the time. This time last year, we were moving into our house, so we had a ton of expenses, a ton of outlays with that. We'd also built our house, so for 18 months we've been paying rent and also paying for our mortgage at the same time. We put down $15,000 of our own money and then took out a $30,000 car loan with a interest rate of 5.89%, I think it is, which in terms of financing for cars is actually pretty good. We didn't have to buy a brand new vehicle. We didn't have to buy that expensive of a vehicle, but we knew we wanted to have kids in the next few years. The secondhand car market, I'm not sure what it's like right now, but it was atrocious. You were basically paying almost the exact same for a secondhand car than you were for a brand new one. So like, that didn't make any sense. And there was also no point buying a new vehicle that was maybe a little bit cheaper that we could buy outright and then just having to sell it in a year's time because we need something bigger. We also knew that we could pay off the car loan pretty quickly. So all that to say, don't have any regrets, but also probably wouldn't do it again because I don't want to pay interest on a depreciating asset. Really bloody excited to say goodbye to that car loan. Thank you very much. And then yeah, just our normal payments towards our mortgage. Savings wise, I just kept $1,683 in my business account. I like to do this from time to time if I know that I have some business expenses coming up. Whatever you see over here income wise is what I've made after taxes and deductions. It doesn't always mean that I am spending that money or that money is doing anything for us personally, because I'm putting it back into the business account. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that was June. Having a look at the breakdown, 57.6% went towards debt, which is amazing. 11.5% towards savings, 23% on expenses, including our Sydney trip, which is pretty good. We only spent $3,365.40, which when we compare to May, yeah, we spent more than that in May alone and we didn't go anywhere. Then having a look at the more detailed breakdown, 30.8% went towards our car loan, 14.3% on our mortgage, 12.6% on the other part of the mortgage, 11.5% in my business accounts, 9.4% on travel. This is what I like to see, like the top 5. If I'm happy with what the top 5 are, I'm sweet. And that's nearly 3/4 of the pie with our top 5, which is good because the rest are just variable expenses. So yeah, all in all, I think June was a pretty good month. I wanted to have a lower spend month, which obviously we didn't foresee us going to Sydney. That was kind of a last minute trip. But aside from that, with our general variable expenses and especially with our savings and our debt payoff, I think we did really good. We also just made sure that our money went to good use. Any extra money that I made from my business or from Nick's back pay, we put towards debt payoff or in our savings. I'm happy with that. It was definitely the financial reset I needed coming off the back of May, which was not the best month. Groovy. Let's budget for July, shall we? As always, we're going to start with our income. So let's change this over to July 24. Gorge. Okay, payday. This will be the 3rd and then the 17th. Is it going to be a 3 paycheck month for Mr. Nicholas? Yes, ma'am. Oh, love to see it. I have all our paydays listed out in my calendar anyway, which I'll be referring to just for like life stuff as well. I like to look at this and see what we have coming up. Like I know it's my mum's birthday this month. If we've got any social events, just so I can kind of gauge how much we might spend in certain categories because it's always changing. So expected income, Nick did get a pay rise. I don't actually know what that's going to look like on a fortnightly basis. So we're just going to guess and say 2,700 perhaps. It's unclear to me, but we'll go with that. And then business wise, this month's shaping up to be a pretty good month if everything is paid as it should be. This is literally my 4th month of being fully self-employed and working for myself, doing social media full time, and I really have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna say 9,000? Question mark. Currently sitting in our spending account, we have $119.90 left over from June. That might be a little bit more, a little bit less because we still have some pending transactions like we were tapping on for the metro when we were in Sydney. So those charges are still pending. We'll just leave it as that. We'll say about $100 left over, bringing into July. For our bills, I'm just going to copy and paste them over from last month. I'm going to reduce our electricity amount down to $120. Basically everything in our bills account is like a sinking fund. So I'll just transfer $1,024.39 into our bills account every month. Some of these are monthly, some of these are quarterly. I originally upped our electricity to $160 that I wanted to put away because we got our summer electricity bill and it was a lot higher than we were expecting. But we just got our newest one and it was like $85 a month. So I think $120 is an appropriate amount. And then whatever's left over, we can carry over into summer. $98 for council rates, that might change soon. Internet, we'll leave at $79. Phone will be going back down to, what is it? I feel like it's always changing. I'm so confused. I thought it was $124, but it says $141 on our newest phone bill. So I may have to ring our phone provider about that one. $141.42. Again, that was higher last month because we had some roaming charges. Gym, $65.56. Home insurance, car insurance, yeah, that's all the same. For our debt, again, I'm just gonna copy and paste over from last month because I cannot for the life of me remember what our mortgage amount is exactly. Beautiful. And then car loan, we have, how much left owing? Drum roll, please. We have $1,931.39 left owing. We are so close, you guys. Oh my gosh, the satisfaction of just paying off that last little bit, closing down this account forever. Then for our variable expenses, I'm going to budget $550 for groceries, $150 for petrol, which another question I get all the time is how I know how much to budget. I don't. It's really, well, I do now, but like it's a lot of trial and error, and there'll be some months where we spend more in one category and we'll go over budget, but there'll be other months where we spend under. I'm personally happy as long as overall we're kind of on budget without variable expenses, because you're never going to get it 100%. And the more you do it and the more you track, the more in tune with your spending you'll become, and you'll know how much realistically you can be spending. And I like to kind of challenge us to always be improving and always try and cut back on some of our spending in certain areas. It's a fine line between budgeting and setting a strict budget and like holding yourself accountable, but also being realistic with it. And if you have disposable income, you can afford to do that. If you don't, that's like a whole other ball game, and like you do have to be strict with it. There's definitely been seasons in our life, like when I was unemployed, lost my job, and when we were paying for rent and a mortgage at the same time, where we had to be a lot more stricter with things and really stick to it. Now I kind of have like a bit of a buffer and a bit of a gauge with what I'm happy spending. Whatever I put in here in terms of our budget is just like a general guideline, but it's really the overall amount here at the end of the month that really matters. And I like to try and keep this around $2,500 if I can. Home, I'm gonna budget $450 this month because we do have cleaners now. They're $137.50 per fortnight, which is pretty reasonable, but they'll be coming 3 times this month. So we'll budget $450 for that, which thank you so much, by the way, to everyone that encouraged me to get a cleaner. I don't know why it's taken us this long, but it's literally the biggest game changer. We're gonna budget $330 for health, which is way more than normal, but I am officially in my Pilates era. Well, I literally went to 1 class and it's the first of the month, but I bought a 5-pack. I'll probably buy another 15-pack. Coffee, we seem to be continually going over, so I'm gonna budget $150 for coffee, $200 for eating out. Date night, we'll say $50. Or maybe 75 actually. We've really been in our date night era at the moment. Mabel, she does need new dog food, so I'm gonna say $200 for her. I don't think we need anything for entertainment. Gifts, it's my mum's birthday, so we'll say $100. Books, I'll budget $30. Alcohol, I don't think we need a lot, we'll say $50. Takeaway, again, I would really like to curb, so what's $175 across the month? $175, yeah. We'll go $175. Rideshare, I usually budget $50. Sometimes we go a little bit over, sometimes under. That's usually an Uber to and from on like a night out if we're both drinking. Metro card, go $10. Clothing, $100 maybe. I actually do need a restock on a couple things. We'll say $50 for beauty. Miscellaneous, $100. And travel, we don't need anything. We're not, well, I don't think we're going anywhere this month. You never know. You really never know with us. Okay, good. So that brings our total to $2,920. So a little bit more than $2,500, but that does include the Pilates pack and also the cleaner for 3 times this month. Okay, how much money does that give us left over? So we have $7,299.61 left to budget. It's crazy what nearly paying off your car loan will do to you, because this money normally would just go straight towards the car loan, but like we don't need to anymore. Where does it go? Well, I do know I have some business expenses, so I'm gonna keep some of my business income. We'll say $1,500 we'll leave in the business account this month. Cool, so that's $5,799.61. You know what we're gonna do, guys? For the first time in a very long time, we are gonna put this money towards our mortgage. That is our next big financial goal. We haven't done this since we were interest-free on our home loan. Basically, if you guys are new here, we built this house. We were renting, and for a period of time, we were also living with my parents. So during that time, we had a fixed interest rate of like 2.69% on the land portion of our loan, but then the build portion of our loan was on a variable interest rate, which was still like really low at the time. Not anymore. And we could also make extra repayments. So that's what we did during that season of our life. That was like 2 years ago now, maybe. Yeah, 2 years ago now. It was just after our wedding. It's been a while since we've been able to do that. That's definitely our next big financial goal, is paying off our mortgage as quickly as we can, working towards being financially free. I know in terms of like return, people say like invest. And that is something I actually need to add to that. We'll budget $500 for ETFs. Yeah, investing, I know financially probably makes the most sense, like compound interest, but there is also something to be said about like financial security and like real estate investments and planning for the future. So I don't know why I felt the need to explain that, but for anyone that is wondering, which reminds me, speaking of investing, Tash Invests on Instagram, she sent me her new book, which is all about investing, a lot about ETFs and just like case studies, which I'm so excited to delve into this and just grow my knowledge with that. Who knows, maybe by the end of this month, once I'm done reading this, I might completely change my stance on this. But for right now, our next financial goal is paying extra towards our mortgage and then simultaneously making little investments as well. We do also have our super funds. I think I might set like an actual amount that we would like to have paid off by the end of this year. Again, I'll revisit that when we do our mid-year reset, because I really need to sit down and crunch the numbers. There is a really good website, which if anyone's interested in this kind of thing, where you can work out how much making extra contributions towards your mortgage will do to you in the long run. I find it so fascinating. So for example, our current property value, we haven't had it reevaluated, but going off similar houses, similar square footage in this area, conservatively, I'll say 820. The loan remaining is about 600,000, maybe a little bit less. We'll say 600. Interest rate is 6.45%. We'll go 6.5%. 27 years remaining. Property growth is more than 4%, but we'll go with that. Monthly repayments are almost exactly that amount. So this shows you our monthly repayments are $3,933. Our monthly interest is $3,250. And then it will go year by year and break down how much of your repayments are going towards principal and how much is going towards interest. And it is so fascinating. It won't be until like 2040 where more of our repayment is going towards principal than interest, which is crazy. That's like 16 years from now. But then if you scroll down, you can add your offset account. So say we've got like 25,000 in our offset account, that will reduce our mortgage by $131,000 and reduce the duration by 2 years and 9 months, almost 3 years off of our mortgage just by keeping money in our offset account. Isn't that crazy? Then you can add like extra repayments. So for example, how much do we have left over this month? $5,299. If you make an extra repayment, we'll do this a one-off repayment. That will take off like 28,000 just by that one-off payment. So yeah, this website's called mortgage.monster. Obviously take it with a grain of salt, because who knows what's going to happen to the market, the value of your property, interest rates, property growth in your area, but it gives you a good idea of kind of what to expect. And yeah, I'll be using this to kind of work out what our goals are and how soon we can have our mortgage paid off, or how much we want to have paid off by a certain amount of time. This is a good little tool. I'm really interested if we do an extra repayment of $2,500 per month with $25,000 sitting in our offset account. That'll reduce our mortgage by $798,000 and take off 16 years and 9 months. So quite literally halve it. You can see here, if we pay an extra $2,500 per month towards our mortgage, we'll have it paid off in 10 years. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, total leftover 529961. We're gonna put towards the mortgage. So 7381 and 86 cents. Oh, that's $85. There we go. That should be an every dollar budget. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm so silly. I've forgotten multiple expenses here. I've written a list down. Thank God I did. I always try and do this before I sit down and do our monthly budget, or just like as things pop up throughout the month, I'm like, oh, I have to remember that for next month, because otherwise I will forget. Car maintenance, we need to add. I literally mentioned that at the beginning of this video and it completely slipped my mind. Okay, we are gonna add this to bills. So I'm gonna go to annual totals and add car expenses. Beautiful. And there we have it. That's literally how you add a category in the budget, and then it will pop up here. Car expenses. Beautiful. So we paid for 3 months of the rego, which was, I don't know, like $200 plus service. We'll say $165 for car expenses. What else is on here? Reduce electricity. We've done that. Dentist appointment. I do have a dentist appointment at the end of this month. So again, health is going to increase. We'll say $550 for health. That should be enough to cover it. It's really hard to know. Like, what if I have 65 cavities? I don't have 65 teeth. That would actually be impossible. Touch wood. My teeth were perfect last time and he did do an x-ray. So I'm hoping we're good. Cool. So I'll just change this. 699, 6.86. Gorge. And that is a $0 budget. Oh, actually, while I'm here, I thought I'd show you guys how you can take money from your savings. This is again a big question I get when it comes to the spreadsheet. I'm talking like I own this. I own Code Plenty. I don't. I'm a big fan. I am a big fan. I've been using this spreadsheet for the last year and a half and I bloody love it. Not only is it aesthetic, but it's also just like super functional and easy to use. But one of the big questions I get, and I honestly didn't know this until recently, but the easiest way to track when you take money from your savings. So for instance, today is the 1st of July. I have to take some money from my emergency fund. I've already saved a few thousand this year, so I'm gonna take away 500, remove that from my emergency fund. There we go. That'll be added to here. And then when we go to our annual totals, you'll see it's deducted from here. So minus $500. And then you just add your transactions as you would. So I'm spending that $500 on car expenses. Yay. So that is our July budget. I thought to end things off, I would just answer a few questions I got on my Instagram, a ton of money related questions. So I'm just gonna go through and choose some off. First one was, once the car is paid, what's the money focus? The mortgage. Someone asked about the mental load of budgeting and choosing where to put it. I think it really comes down to your financial goals, or just like your goals in general. A lot of your money goals will correlate with your personal goals and where you envision your life to go. So I think getting a clear idea of what you want and what you want to do, that will help so much with budgeting. So when you sit down, you know exactly where you want your money to go. When we were really in that season of grinding and saving, we would budget for our bills first and then our savings, and then whatever was left over after that would be for our spending money. How do you calculate amount for bills, sinking fund, and how do you budget that? Again, it's just a bit of trial and error. We break down our quarterly bills into monthly amounts, so it's not so much of a financial stress, but working out exactly what that amount is really difficult. It's more of like a general ballpark figure. Chances are, like, you haven't moved into a brand new place recently. You've probably got quarterly bills that you can look back on, and so working out how much on average per month those will be, and then working out how much you need to put in your bills account. Any celebration plan for when you pay off the car loan? Not really. I don't know, maybe we'll do something, maybe like a celebration dinner or something. I don't know. Maybe get our car professionally cleaned. That would be nice. How do you account for super contributions in your budget? This always comes out pre whatever you see in our budget. So our income is like post taxes and deductions from both of us. How did you know it was time to join bank accounts? I think it's just a vibe. Like, money was never a source of tension in our relationship. We knew we had similar spending habits, similar money mindset, and we had the same goals. So just kind of got to a point as well where one of us would pay for something and then the other one would have to transfer, just kind of getting annoying. It's another thing that you kind of have to keep track of. And then when it came to like planning a wedding, that comes with a whole other set of expenses, and then saving for a deposit on a house. Like, it just kind of became too much. We started off with a joint savings account, which was a really good place to start. And then eventually we were just like, okay, we're in it for the long haul. Let's just like combine everything, but do whatever works for you. Do you use credit cards? No, but we did just sign up for one recently. They were having like a good deal going with extra Qantas frequent flyer points. So we did sign up for that one. And yeah, we will be credit card users, which is, I'm not scared about, because I know that we have it under control. And I have had a credit card before when I lived in Canada, because you have to have credit. We really just want it to accumulate points. Can you provide a breakdown of each of your accounts, their purpose, and how they function? I have a whole video on this, my payday routine. I go through each account and what we do with that. Do you track savings in another spreadsheet? No, it's all in the same spreadsheet. We haven't been saving really this year. I think we added a little bit to our emergency fund at the beginning of the year, but then our main focus has been on paying off our car loan. Oh my gosh, there's so many good questions on here. I could honestly just sit here forever, but I feel like I've been yapping on for too long. I think I might save the rest of these questions for another budgeting video I have planned later this month. There's so many new faces on here and so many questions about how to get started with budgeting and just like budgeting for beginners. So I really want to do a video. I've never talked about this, like my tips on how to budget as a beginner and how to use the budgeting spreadsheet, my tips and tricks, how to set it up and all of that stuff. So look out for that video later this month, sharing all of my trade secrets. Anyway, I am going to wrap up this video here, but thank you guys so much for budgeting with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic July. I'm so excited for all the content this month, and I just think it's gonna be an incredible month. The sun is shining. I did a Pilates class. I feel like I'm unstoppable. New financial year, new me. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for another video. Bye guys.